3분 정도만 기다렸다가 바로 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
저희가 오기 전에 세션이 전 세션이
그러니까 지금 막 끝나가지고
전 세션이 좀 늦어져가지고
그거 반총되면 15만 원 진짜. 아직 좀 벌써
이제 시작하면 될까요?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you may take your seats, we will begin the next session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jason Lee. I'm the Regional Deputy Director for GGGI Asia. I'm going to play both the MC as well as the moderator for this session. So this is a 90-minute session. It has a dual event. We will start with a special MOU ceremony between GGGI and NH Investment and Securities. And then we have to have a panel discussion session on green entrepreneurship and climate technology. So we are very pleased to host this MOU ceremony to mark the partnership between NH Investment and Securities and GGGI for the GCF-funded project, Collaborative R&D program for promoting the innovation of climate technopreneurship. So this is a project that we are very much excited to start because GGGI has been working with this in the past 5 years with KDB as well as NH Investment and Securities. So I want to inform you that the actual signing of the MOU happened 10 minutes ago, but we will use this platform to have the celebration and also exchange formal remarks by GGGI Director General, Professor Sang-Hyuk Kim, as well as the President and CEO of NH, Yoon Byung-un. So let me invite Director General Kim for his opening remarks for the session.
Good morning, my colleagues and friends. I'm really delighted to open this session on green entrepreneurship, which I value very much. And thank you all for joining us. And thank you, Robin McQueen, the head of the P4G Partnerships. P4G stands for Partnership for Global Growth. And I met her in Hanoi, and that's where we formulated another level of partnership. Thank you for joining us. But firstly, I'd like to recognize Mr. Yoon Byung-un, the President and CEO of NH Investment and Securities. As Jason mentioned, we made an MOU just 10 minutes ago on the promotion, on the innovation of clean technopreneurship. We have waited this come to life for many years, and I am excited we now kick off the real thing together. And today's MOU with the NH Investment and Securities formalizes our collaboration under the Collaborative R&D, Research and Development and Business Programs for promoting the innovation of climate technopreneurship. This initiative links policy, finance, and entrepreneurship to help scale up climate technologies in Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, and Philippines and Vietnam. Through this partnership, we aim to reduce 1.64 million tons of CO2 and equivalent emissions and benefit around 2.3 million people directly. So it's about carbon reduction and it's about new job creation. And the key element of this collaboration is the $200 million that is originate from our close partner GCF, Green Climate Fund. About several weeks ago, the head of GCF, Madam Mapalda Duarte visited our office. And as you might know, GGGI and GCF were born almost same time, back in 2012. And me and Mapalda agreed that we are going to strengthen that kind of strategic partnership more deeply, like twins, right? So GCF is about money, we are about work on the ground as a strategic and trusted partner. And this fund will invest in early stage technology-driven climate ventures from renewable energy and sustainable agriculture to water and mobility solutions. Bridging innovations with investment help local entrepreneurs turn ideas into scalable businesses. For this to happen, I also appreciate the great support and partnership of KDB, and the head of the Climate Biz team of KDB, Ms. Park Se-kyung, is here with us. I thank you for that. And Stella, since the beginning of this work, you've been with the GGI to make it happen. I appreciate your hard work. Through our Global Greenpreneur program, GGGI has supported entrepreneurs in 20 countries. And we will strengthen innovation networks and accelerate inclusive green growth. And several months ago, we made a strategic MOU with the Ministry of Science and Technology. It's about climate tech. It's about green startups. For that, we have a wonderful partner, which is NH Investment and Securities. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, many people who made this happen. Together with partners like NH, KDB, and GGI, we will continue to build green entrepreneurship ecosystem, one that delivers real, inclusive, innovative, and lasting impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General Kim, for those inspiring words. So after that opening remarks, I think everybody will be wondering what the project is about, especially when they heard the word $200 million. So I am going to invite Ms. Stella Lee, who is our country representative for GGGI Uzbekistan. She has led the development of this proposal in the past 5 years or 4 years. So let me give big hands to Ms. Stella Lee.
슬라이드가 있는데. I'm too short for this mic, perhaps. So good morning, esteemed guests, partners, and colleagues. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce the collaborative R&D program for the promotion of the innovation of climate technopreneurship, or simply climate technopreneurship program. This is the result of 5 years of collaboration among different and diverse partners. Since GGGI and KDB first discussed the project concept and target countries back in 2020. It's indeed a testament to strong partnership and shared vision. So as you can see, we have 5 target countries, and Southeast Asia is one of the regions most vulnerable to climate change. And many countries are still heavily dependent on carbon-intensive growth model and industries. To tackle the challenges, we need rapid and comprehensive widespread deployment of effective climate solutions. This program does just that by supporting climate technologies and green entrepreneurship. It aligns well with UNFCCC and COP guidance to support incubation, acceleration, and technology transfer. So the program targets 5 ASEAN countries, as highlighted by our DG Kim: Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. And key partners include KDB, who is the AE, accredited entity to GCF. And I really want to express my sincere appreciation to Yujina Kim and Sekyung Park for their passion and resilience for the past 5 years. And also we have a strong partner, NH Securities and Investment and Securities, and NHALP, which is the leading financial institution and investment house in Korea and Asia. And total project size is $221 million US dollar, and with 104 million from GCF in the form of equity and grants. And 200 million will be in the form of equity and 21 million in grants. So as highlighted by our DG Kim, we expect 1.64 million greenhouse gas emission reductions and 2.3 million direct and indirect beneficiaries in the region. Next slide, please. So the program supports, I just missed that. The program supports various mitigation and adaptation sectors, including energy transport and agriculture and water and more. So let me briefly share the details of the program. We have 4 components under this program, and component 1 is for acceleration of local startups. So we'll identify promising local startups in those 5 countries and provide the essential acceleration service to be ready for the global partnership. And this component will be led by GGGI together with KDB, and of course in close collaboration with the government and local implementing entity. And component 2 will be for global tech sourcing and partnership, and will match these local startups, selected from component 1, and match them with the global climate tech firms, and support the establishment of joint ventures and other forms of partnership, and also promote technology transfer. And this important component will be led by NH Investment and Securities. The next component, component 3, is a core of this program to establish $200 million US equity fund with GCF first loss capital. And the fund will finance graduate from the component 2. And this important component will be led by NHAIP in close coordination with other executing entity. And finally, the component 4 is more traditional technical assistance to strengthen the overall ecosystem for climate technology and industry and business, and will provide technical assistance and capacity building support led by GGGI and KDB, strongly working with the government counterpart and local partners. Next slide, please. So what makes this program innovative? So the program offers the opportunity for the innovative local firms to access large-scale climate fund, or GCF, and it will leverage private investment in climate sector space in the developing countries through risk mitigation with GCF equity. And it will aggregate countries and also different climate technologies to diversify risk and returns for investors, diverse investors. And it will take a programmatic approach, combining investment, capacity building, and policy support. And it will also introduce market-driven platform for incubation and investment. And finally, it will promote technology transfer between our member countries and other more advanced countries, and also promote commercialization in developing markets. And the impact of and benefit of this program includes, of course, a large-scale mitigation and adaptation impacts. And also, we expect economic co-benefits, including green job creation and market development and strengthening SME in particular. And it will also create social and environmental co-benefits through, for example, promoting gender equality, mainstreaming gender equity in the program, overall program, and also aligning SDG targets. And also, finally, we'll build long-term ecosystem for the climate investment in those countries in the region, and we will also aim for scaling up and replication of this business model in other countries and in other regions. So, in closing, I'd like to highlight that this program will create the first regional climate technology transfer fund aligned with UNFCCC guidance. And we are very proud of it that GGGI is part of this important initiative with strong partners like KDB and NH, as well as government counterparts and local accelerators and startups in those 5 countries. And we really look forward to working with you all to bring this program to life. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Lee, for outlining the vision and the objective and the scope of the project. So now I invite Mr. Byung-Eun Yoon, President and CEO of NH Investment and Securities, to provide his remarks on this new collaboration.
소개받은 NH투자증권 대표이사 윤병훈입니다. 한국어로 말씀드리는 걸 양해 부탁드리겠습니다. 이번에 GGG와의 MOU 체결한 것에 대해서 상당히 영광스럽게 생각하고 앞으로 MOU 내용을 최대한도로 충실하게 수행할 것을 약속드리겠습니다. 안녕하십니까. NH투자증권 대표이사 윤병훈입니다. 오늘 GGG와의 MOU 체결은 우리 NH투자증권이 지속 가능한 미래를 향한 금융의 역할을 한층 더 강화하는 뜻깊은 출발점이라 생각합니다. 전 세계적으로 기후위기 대응과 녹색 성장은 이제 선택이 아닌 필수가 되었고, 이에 금융기관의 책임과 역할 또한 그 어느 때보다 중요해지고 있습니다. 이번 협력을 통해 GCF 프로그램에서 수행될 다양한 사업이 실질적 성과로 이어질 수 있도록 NH투자증권은 금융의 전문성과 네트워크를 적극 활용하겠습니다. 앞으로 GGGY와 GCF 프로그램뿐만 아니라 그 외 프로젝트에서도 긴밀하게 협력하며 기후변화 대응과 지속가능한 성장에 기여할 수 있기를 기대합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you, President Yoon. We are now into the final segment of our ceremony. We will take a photo with these 2 excellencies as well as panelists for this session. So I invite the panelists to come up here so we could all take a photo together. Okay, so that was the end of MOU ceremony. We are now going to start the panel discussion sessions. I am going to invite all the panelists to come up here and sit at the stage. Okay, so we are going to start the panel discussion sessions. For the next 60 minutes, next 60 minutes, we'll dive into how green entrepreneurship and technology can drive a sustainable and inclusive development. We have a very distinguished panelist here, Ms. Karen Diallo, Director of Digital Transformation, Ministry of Digital Transition and Digitalization, Government of Ivory Coast. And we have Ms. Sekyung Park, Head of Climate Business Team, Korea Development Bank. And we have Mr. Gi-jung Kwon, Managing Director of NH Absolute Return Partners. And then we have Ms. Robin McGuckin, Executive Director of P4G Partnership. And Mr. Juan Kim, Country Representative of GGGI Vietnam. So before we start the actual discussion, I am going to ask two people to provide the presentations here, a very brief presentation. Let me invite Mr. Juhan Kim, presenting GGGI's efforts in the past few years on green entrepreneurship.
Thank you, moderator Jason Lee, and great to see you. Very good morning. My name is Juhan Kim, working for our Vietnam office in Vietnam, Vietnam office of the Global Green Growth Institute. My presentation will be very quick, just to align what we have discussed from the morning with the topic of climate tech, youth innovation, and AI and digital transformation. What has been done in the GGGI setting, and then how we are currently collaborating with our partners in our member countries. So, well, this graph tells the gist of it, why we need to talk about the climate entrepreneurship and climate tech growth. Because when the international community thought about the net zero 2050 towards 2070 based on a lot of assumptions, they thought about it when they developed the target. So the existing technology, currently mature technology, currently commercialized technology, will only contribute 30% of the emission reduction required for net zero, more or less. And then the rest, 70%, has to be delivered by the technology which is currently on the prototyping stage, or demonstration, or early stage. So that means that we need an entrepreneurs, we need an innovation, we need startups, and then we need relevant capital to deliver that goal. So that's why we have to discuss climate tech, and then we need to put climate tech in the core discussion of the global green growth journey. So then we're talking about AI and digitalization. AI is not just an algorithm, software, like we discussed in the opening session today with the PNC and the Director General of the GGGI. But if you look at the development of AI, it's more about a transformation of our modern economy. And then, if you look at the reality, the global greenhouse gas emissions relevant to the AI development through the data center development, etc. So it's a growing exponential phase, at an exponential phase. So what we need to deal with is the electricity consumption required for the data centers. We need to source out electricity from the renewable sources. So that's number one. The other part of the discussion is AI and digitalization is actually helping a lot of the green growth. So if you look at the latest research from Grantham Institute in the UK, they're saying that the couple of sectors, if you align with AI development, then we will reduce significantly the emissions, the potential emissions reduction. We will gain the potential emission reductions significantly. So we need to utilize AI and digitalization boom and then its transformation align with the climate goals. So that's what we need to think about in the context of the climate tech. So what we have done so far with GGGI, well, not only climate tech, but also any type of green business is starting 2018. We've been working together with many different countries to tap the green entrepreneurship, working with the youth and the startups and also the venture capital industry. So these are the quick track record. We started with multiple countries. And then last year, we have made an assessment, internal global assessment, what we have done, and then what we need to focus more. And then we found out that we've been pretty much focusing on the prototyping stage or extreme early stage or livelihood stage, livelihood focused MSMEs. But we need to do a lot with the climate tech entrepreneurs, with the result embedded properly, the climate result, climate impact result embedded for that kind of development. So now, last year we kind of concluded that we need to scale up the winners because we're dealing with the time-bound issues. The climate tech is basically the technologies who is going to contribute the emission reduction. So we need to identify the winners, and then we need to work together with the finance industry to really deliver that impact quickly. So that's why we're working with NH and then KDB and then the Green Climate Fund to really accelerate the process. But we need to identify the right one, the potential winners. That's important. And then we need to strengthen our partnership, how to work together with the many different stakeholders, and also strengthen the right application of the AI and then digitalization for this climate agenda. So starting this year, we're really accelerating our business here, working with the case of the Green Climate Fund. But the country that I'm working at the moment, Vietnam, we are doing a lot of climate tech program as well, and then other countries. So we're trying to make the case, and then we collaborate the P4G this year with Robin, with our Director General. So we are really trying to, it's not about networking, but it's more about ecosystem development with like-minded players to really focus to identifying the winners and then bring finance. So then in terms of investment, that's why we work together with NH and NHARP. We can see the photo of Mr. Kwon. So we are really trying to build up the right network to design the innovative instrument to do something concrete. So, I mean, this is just a quick showcase of Vietnam on the energy efficiency climate tech accelerator, which has been done before, this GCF-related climate tech program. So we recently mobilized, it's a small money, 2.3 to 2.5 million US dollars for the Vietnamese grown and the local domestically grown startups, tech startups in Vietnam. We really matched we accelerate them to match with investors. Then we are trying to scale up. And then through the KDB program we discussed, and also in Vietnam, We have other accelerator program with the Korean government on the agri-tech and the circular economy tech sector we are currently developing. So what we want to highlight is this is one of the most important segment of our green growth business, and we need to really scale them up through the program, and also we need to find the right one. So in the climate tech context, this is my final word. So we say startups and SMEs, but only relevant to the climate tech business. SMEs is not small and medium businesses. More, you can say it's a scalable medium business or system shifting medium businesses, if I say it a little differently. So with that, I thank you very much for your attention. Moderator, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Joo-han Kim, for sharing your knowledge. Joo-han has been the leader of this green entrepreneurship topic at GGGI since 2018. When he first started to raise this topic, there was a small interest, but now there's a big interest, and it has become a major service offering from GGGI. So thank you, Joo-han Kim, for your efforts. And now let me invite Mr. Ki-jung Kwon, who will be the key person for implementing our project. He is the man who will be developing $200 million fund and managing the fund. Mr. Kwon.
Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to share the strategies with you guys. I'm going to manage this fund. So let me briefly talk about the strategies and how we work and how we collaborate with the GGGI and NH Absolute, with the partners and NH Investment Securities. As Stella mentioned about, total fund program size is 220 million. 20 million will be used for grants for component 1 and 2, and 200 million will be used for fund equities. Okay. The fund main term is basically fund lifetime is 11 years, and the investment period is 5 to 6 years, and the total size will be 200 million, and we are going to 3 multiple closing systems. So first one is about 90 million, and second one is 40, and third is 70. So net investment amount will be around 160 million. And target investment asset classes are firstly equities, and second debt, and third are mezzanines like convertible bond and bond with warrants. And also we can deploy capitals to project finance debt tranche as well as equity tranches. Our target IRR is 10%, and as Stella mentioned about these concessional capitals, basically GCF capital will be used for first loss provisions, which means to make up senior LPs 8% of preferred IRR. This type of concessional capital or catalytic capital from GCF will support seniors 8%. And if you look at the waterfall, the first one is senior LPs principal money, and second is 8% preferred return of senior LPs, and third is GCF principal and GCF 8% of preferred return subsequently. Target investment sector, the first one was renewable energy sector, and second, energy storages. Third is low carbon transportations, and fourth, smart buildings and energy efficiencies. These 4 sectors are related to carbon mitigations, which will be accounting for 50% of the total portfolios. And another 50% will be going to adaptation sector for climate change, Three sectors are water management, waste management, and agriculture tech. I'm not sure you are familiar with the NH Group. So NH Group is easily context like the Korean version of Crédit Agricole in France. So NH means Agricultural Cooperative Federation. So our DNA is more like agricultural DNA. So we're very interested in agriculture tech space as well as waste management, including circular economies and biofuels or recycling systems. How we do? Fund's domicile is Singapore Limited Partnership, and my group will take up 10% of total fund size, and GCF will take up 42% of the total. So we need to match from the probably private capital for 42%. This is how we work. Basically, so many people are still confused how we run this fund, basically, because there are some more like complexity, because there are 4 components, component 1, 2, 3, 4. So component 1 and 4 are conducted by GGGI. So let me put it this way. Component 2 is NH Investment Securities Carbon Finance Team. So maybe things goes like this. Carbon finance team in NH Investment Securities try to find some global standard technology companies. For example, like a renewable energy related company. It could be like Series B or Series C stage company, even a listed company in the market. Then they approach the company, then ask them if they are willing to expand their business into Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, or Laos, Cambodia. One of those 5 countries they are interested in expanding their business into those 5 countries, then they will match up with the GGGI. They will choose how they implement their business strategies. First one, joint venture with the local partner. The second is direct investment for the establishing their subsidiary in local markets. So if they want to get involved with the local partner, then GGGI actively try to look for the local partners who are willing to receive their technologies from the tech owners. Then we're setting up the joint venture, whether it should be like Singapore or the local markets. But if the company wants to directly set up their own subsidiary in local markets, then GGGI will be involved in finding some solutions for them to settling down their business, or they need to handle with the local government for approvals, all these regulation stuff. So this is how we work together, and we call it this job accelerating job. This is a little bit different from typical legacy accelerating terms for the venture capitalists. But our acceleration job is finding local partners and finding the global standard tech owners, and we try to match up for them to expand their business into those 5 countries for technology transference. So if we set up kind of investment portfolio, investment pooling, then my fund, component 3, will choose 10 to 15 portfolios out of expected 30 accelerated format of joint venture or subsidiaries. So this is how we work. And yes, and this is the target stages. So maybe we can touch on Series B, even if we are not venture capitalists, but to boost local venture startup ecosystem in those 5 countries, we need to commit and contribute those societies. So we need to fill up with the 20 to 30% of startups, presumably at the moment, tentatively. And main focus is growth stage of the companies, like Series C to Series E will take up more than half. And as I earlier mentioned that, we can do private debt strategies as well. So maybe we can well balanced between the equities and debt tranches. And also the methodologies for exit will be primarily M&A or some putback options for one of either joint venture entities. If I say IPO would be the proper methodology for exit, it's gonna be a lie because this is joint venture. The most preferred type for this fund is joint venture by GCF. So in the case, M&A would be the primary way to exit from investment. And the fund lifetime is 11 years and investment period is 5 years. So harvest exit period would be 6 to 7 years upon the conditions. So this is pretty long lifetime fund compared to any other private sector fund. So we need to get some strong commitment from the potential LP list. So we're going to touch on the DFIs and multinational banks as well as some foundations and philanthropies who are strongly devoted to commitment to this type of climate changes and adaptations to climate change. So this is that will be all from my component three's the presentation, and I will take questions when we get some panel sessions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Guan. That was a very good explanation of how the fund will operate. So let's now dive into questions. Karen, let me start with you if you are ready. So the project you have in Ivory Coast, the Quaker Fund project, is focused on supporting youth and innovation through early stage private sector investment. From your experience, how can a government or how can we make green entrepreneurship more inclusive and accessible for young innovators and women-led startups?
Thank you very much. I'll start by saying that in Côte d'Ivoire, sustainability and inclusion are no longer add-ons. They are built in how we design every innovation policies. So everything we do, we put in perspective that we have to include youngs and women and also people with disabilities. So in everything we do, we keep this in mind and we develop a solution and rules and regulation that will be supporting those people. We are trying to do it by including everyone. When we start, for example, when we did the National Strategy for AI, we did a public consultation for all citizens of Côte d'Ivoire. Everyone was able to participate in this effort so that they have a voice, so that they have a choice in the matter. So it's not, we are not putting, deciding everything and then putting it on them to bear, but they decide, they voice their opinion, their fears, their everything about AI, because it was a misconception for a lot of people. They didn't know what was AI, what was possible to do with AI, so we had to explain it to everyone and then bring them on the boat so that in the future they are the one that will be driving this boat, since they are the young and they will be our future. So we did that, and so we went all around the country. We went in the different areas to go to the public, to go to them, not waiting for them to come, but we went to them to explain, to know how the technology, how the system, how the policies are going to help them, ask them their opinion and how they think the technology could make their life better. So after that, we proposed a strategy, and they were able again to give feedback about this, saying we have this project that is not included. Can you add it? There are this project. It's not deep enough. Can you go deeper? etc., etc. And it was a developing process, and we do it in all the matters. In the incubator made by the presidents, what we did is we did a hub where we have access to every entity you need to create a company. We have a unique portal so that we can have all the info that is accessible. You don't have to go in a different location to find the information. You have all in one place. And then we put in place a recommendation when we develop a new innovation so that it can add the dialect of the person, because in Côte d'Ivoire we have many languages and everyone does not speak French really good. So we need to we have a startup right now that is digitalizing all those languages so that when we have a public service, for example, it can speak in your tongue so that you understand and you have access to it, even though you don't speak a really good French. So we have a lot of initiatives like this that are trying to bring back the focus on the citizen and not on the technology. We are trying to bridge the gap, the digital gap, by sending organization to go do capacity building, and so that people can touch for the first time a computer, for example, because there are some people that didn't even had computer, they don't know what it is, how to use it, and we do this also for the internet and for AI, for cybersecurity. We do all those kind of we call it caravan, digital caravan. We also have I was talking about it in the previous panel. We have digital capacity building programs in the schools, which help in the public school even, so that they are aware of the new technologies, and they learn at the early stages how to use it, what it is for, how it can better their lives in the daily matter. This is what I can say.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Karen. I think the two messages that I could remember from what you said. First, a message is the inclusivity is built in on every innovation policy. It's not a choice anymore, you said. So supporting youth, women, and people with disabilities is already built in. And then the second message that I could remember is that the policies has to focus on people, not the technologies. I think that's really a strong message that we need to maintain. So I think with that kind of discussion, it could bring a question on what about the commercial viability, right? With the focus on social inclusion, some people might question whether that's going to be commercially viable. So let me ask the questions to Mr. Gi-jung Kwon, our fund manager. So from investment perspective, how do you see the challenge of balancing commercial returns with measurable climate impact and inclusive outcomes?
I think that topic is endlessly questioning, because whenever I join some conference for the climate tech and impact funds, basically that is top questions for that matters, which means it's very, very hard to achieve well-balanced between the social and climate impact as well as the proper return. So when you talk about the blended finance schemes, definitely in the public capitals and private capitals mixture, definitely some part we have to sacrifice a certain amount of returns, basically. So in my program, why we target 8% of our preferred return, basically above 10%, to be honest with you, it's very hard to achieve more than 12% structurally because we are going to use GCF public capitals as catalytic and concessional capital for first loss provisions. So if you look at the waterfall, their principal and 8% of preferred return. After that, GCF will take up their principal and 8% of preferred return. So during the time when GCF take up their principal and 8% of preferred return, actually seniors LPs extra return is stagnant until GCF will get 8% preferred return and principals. So theoretically, beyond 12% is very, very hard to achieve. But we have to think about the social impact. We say 1.6 million tons of carbon mitigation, as well as 2.3 million beneficiaries directly or indirectly. So if we convert or translate these social impact into the dollar term, definitely the total IRR will be above 13 to 14% because we have to talk about SROIs, social return on investment. Then we have to dollar-wise monetize the social value creation into the dollar terms. Then definitely our total terms will be higher than 12 to 13%. So I would say objectively, financially, in terms of money back wise, definitely 8 to 10% would be the maximum. But when we mix with this social impact, then actual return would be more than any other financial and commercially driven funds in the global capital markets. So in the sense, we have to focus on the social impact in the climate tech, as well as you said, the financial inclusions, and also we have to take care about the social impacts for adaptation part. So naturally, we have to focus on those impact creation rather than 8% of preferred return achievement, because 8% achievement is relatively easy compared to any other commercial type of fund, because this is the set of art of picking up the right portfolios. But people might say, oh, climate tech, definitely their business model is beyond any other, commercially driven like AI business models, but it's not. Because if you look at the renewable energy or water management and waste management, including circular economies, if you look at the SAF, sustainable aviation fuel business, if you look at their investment, ROE, definitely they can achieve more than 20%. So in terms of the business-wise, definitely we can achieve 8% of commercial return. So that's why we have to focus on how we create social impact well. And then that's why we have to mindful when it comes to picking a portfolio, whether how the business guys to try to make the real impact, how the impact can be measured, and how the impact can be managed. So from our program, my major role will be focusing on the impact measurement, impact management, because as long as the impact measurement is accurate and impact the management is guaranteed, then I would say additional return, which is translate into the financial return, will be achievable to make entire program is the commercially persuaded. That's our just a little of theory and philosophy. Then how we approach these programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Gi-jung. So you mentioned that achieving 8% to 10% return would be easy. I don't know. Based on my personal experience on my personal investment portfolio, achieving 8%.
No. Because if you put down your capital into U.S. Treasury bond for 10 years, it's 4.5%. So we can get extra 3.5%. How? Because we are doing private credit markets, right? 8% is very conservative. Because if you look at the frontier market like Cambodia and Laos, their sovereign rating just double B. So private capital level actually is above 10%. But the reason why I say 8% is target, because I just want to be very conservative. Even Indonesia sovereign bond is 7%, right? And Vietnam, almost same situation. So when we mix with the private credit strategies, then, easy, but fully achievable. Yeah. Then we will be able to focus on impact creation. Then when we approach the company, then usually as a fund manager, when I see some CEOs and founders, then how your business model can prove and how can you translate your business into the money. But in this case, how your technology can be converted into social impact. For example, organic fertilizer producers, what kind of ammonia are you using? Your ammonia is green, then their cost is high, right? But even if their cost base is high, but as long as they can make 10 to 12% of ROE, then that kind of business can be our target. But other and 100% commercially driven fund, that company is tricky for them to pick up. But me, easily, because as long as they can make some profits, then we can do anything, as long as they can create some impact.
Thank you, Mr. Kwon. I think that's it's nice to see such a confident fund manager working for my project. So I'm very pleased. So let me turn to Ms. Sekyung. So we heard from Gi-jung that there has to be a balance of commercial viability as well as climate impacts and inclusive outcomes. Definitely the development banks like Korea Development Bank play a crucial role in mobilizing capital for this type of a fund. So how can national development banks effectively de-risk early stage climate tech ventures while ensuring social impact? And what sort of instruments or financial instruments are out there that could support the type of project that we are trying to do?
Thank you for your question. At first, I would like to emphasize the point that the Korea Development Bank defines its role differently depending on the geography of its business operations. In short, when we go abroad, we strictly pursue commercial basis, while functioning as a policy-based financial institution across domestic industries that face structural vulnerability. In response to your question regarding KDB's identity as a development financier, it would be most appropriate to share our policy-oriented insights. As a leading policy financial institution of Korea, one of KDB's core mandate is to nurture the next generation of growth engines, notably including climate technology businesses and enterprises, which have been emerged as a clear national priority in recent decades. To advance the mission, the bank has been operating its flagship investment platform, venture investment platform called KDB Next Round. The platform hosts investor relations sessions 3 days a week in the auditorium of KDB headquarters in Seoul. These sessions are organized by business stage. For instance, IR rounds for Cs and pre-A on Tuesdays and A and B on Wednesdays, and from Series C to pre-IPO on Fridays, thereby covering the entire life cycle of innovation. Surely, climate technology industries are no exception. Beyond Korea, our reach extends to major global financial hubs as we support Korean companies pursuing business opportunities abroad. KDB currently operates venture capital desks and subsidiaries in major locations like New York, London, Singapore, and Silicon Valley. To date, we have facilitated more than 700 IR sessions worldwide, mobilizing investment volumes in billions of US dollars in innovation finance.
Okay, thank you, Taegyeong. I had no idea KDB actually make an investment into venture companies. So I think that was a very good, very useful information. So let's turn to Robin. So Robin, so you are the executive director for international partnership platform, P4G, and P4G brings together governments, investors, and the entrepreneurs globally. So how can such international partnerships help create the necessary enabling ecosystems for climate tech startups while directly supporting national climate targets? That will be the question.
Thanks so much, Jason. It's an excellent question. And let me start by first thanking GGGI and the government of Korea for enabling our respective climate commitments and work. P4G's goal as an initiative is to enable today's climate entrepreneurs to become tomorrow's climate titans. We believe that by doing so, we are enabling growth of our partner economies from within, creating jobs, generating GDP, and building climate resilient communities. But to get into the specifics, P4G helps climate startups in emerging and developing economies to become investment ready. We provide grants, technical assistance, and in-country networks, which is a critical aspect to your question. And we do so to assist our startups in areas like investment readiness, ESG proofs, overcoming marketplace barriers, and working with the local communities that form their customer base. Very importantly, in each country, our startups work with P4G's national platforms. Our national platforms are a collaboration between the Ministries of Finance, Planning and Economy, leading industry associations, our parent organization, the World Resources Institute, and other civil society organizations, and our high-income country partner embassies and trade associations in South Korea, Denmark, and the Netherlands. And together, working with that network, we have realized some amazing successes. Since 2018, we have supported over 135 climate startup initiatives, implementing climate solutions in food, water, and energy. To date, we ourselves have committed $48 million in funding, which our startups have used to leverage a total of over $525 million in commercially termed concessional, because it is environmental, but concessional capital. $211 million of that is directly attributable to our work as P4G. Our partnerships have accelerated, and as we have learned in our latest startup fund round, which started in late 2023, we have 63 active startups. They have already realized $90 million in commercially termed investment, creating 1,600 jobs and realizing 1.64 million in tons of carbon reductions already. And this is through our verified ESG techniques. And the real key here, we believe, is that engagement with our national platforms, that engagement with a strong startup network, startup support network in each of our member countries. And if there's one key learning since we started in 2018, it's that innovation doesn't happen in isolation. It thrives in ecosystems. And across our global experience, one truth stands out. When the public sector leads with vision, then the private sector follows with investment, collaboration, and innovation. And in emerging and developing economies, this connection becomes even more critical. Targeted and sustained investment enables these countries to create leapfrog innovations, to generate jobs, improve energy access, and strengthen resilience. We believe that these kinds of matchmaking efforts are not just pro-business, they are pro-sustainable growth and pro-resilience. And this is precisely where we, as P4G, to get to your question, play the role through our national platforms, where we help strengthen the enabling ecosystems. And together, we're not only supporting startups, but we are also strengthening the institutional frameworks that allow the evidence-based climate innovation to thrive. So that's a little bit about P4G, and I'm just so thrilled to hear about the Climate Technopreneurs being launched and that great effort, and we look forward to our continued collaboration and engagement with GGGI and with many of you here in this room to bring our lessons learned into your program, and hopefully, of course, to bring your lessons learned into ours as collaboratively, as partner institutions, we work towards our collective SDG goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. So if I remember correctly, the previous name of P4G was Global Green Growth Forum. It's a long time ago.
3GF, yes.
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 So I believe the name of GGGI came from GGGF before it became P4G. So I would say we are like a twin organization.
Indeed.
And then I'm very glad to see the kind of impacts that you are making on the ground. You mentioned that there will be, you want to have a partnerships especially in Indonesia, as well as Vietnam, for green entrepreneurship, and we look forward to have the partnership. And also, the message, one of the messages that you said was that innovation does not happen in isolation, and I do very much agree, and the collaboration is definitely the way to go. Okay, Juhan, so let me turn to you. So, as I said in the beginning, from GGGI side, you are the most experienced expert in this topic of green entrepreneurship. And I do think that you touched upon a little bit on the question, the following question I have on this, I have for you. So green entrepreneurship and digital innovation contribute to both climate action and social inclusion in the broader journey toward net zero and sustainable development. If you could make a couple of key guideline messages to achieve sustainable development and net zero using green entrepreneurship and digital innovation, what would that be?
Well, thank you, Jason, but that's a very comprehensive question. So I just have my humble opinion, but I would like to share. But first, I was very happy to hear from Mr. Kwon's the fund management strategy, because I've been one of the person who has been arguing that we should not focus on just startup or just youth, but we need to find the climate tech startup, which is potential winner. Winner meaning the company who can deliver climate impact, either the greenhouse gas emissions reduction or increasing the volume of the waste to be treated cleanly, and et cetera, et cetera. But the Kijong strategy is to focus on the Series C and then Series D upward through the fund. That meaning from financial perspective, but from the climate perspective, it's a journey to find the right winners. So that said, I think it's really excited to hear from him. But I would like to share my humble opinion on your question, Jason. So I think the main issue here is how we share risk on investment. We're international players, and then we mobilize international finance, and then we deploy to a certain country. We are deploying companies, but we are also associated with the jurisdiction. So from the perspective of trusted advisor to our member countries, our intervention is short-term or mid-term or strategic intervention. But long-term, they need to do by themselves, long-term, under certain jurisdiction. That means that this kind of arrangement that we structured with the KDB GCF and H project, we can influence and that we can give lessons to the government that how they are going to structure this kind of mechanism. But this is one of the example, but the main issue is how they are going to develop their own jurisdictional mechanism in the long term. One example is in our host country example, Korea. Korea has a TIPS program, the Tech Incubator Program. But they have basically two different channels. One is for R&D channel. They ask private sector invest in company first and then bring to the government and then government match R&D. So meaning they just make a situation of skin in the game. So the private takes the risk first and then government provides R&D. And then the other part is fund of fund. So they mobilize fund from the government to leverage private investment. So the cumulative number, I guess, is $8 billion US dollars so far for fund of funds, and then 20 plus billion dollars mobilized from the private sector. So, well, just an example. So the countries, especially the emerging economies, middle income or high middle income countries, they are developing their own fund these days. From their fund source from the Treasury or the Ministry of the Science and Technologies and etc. So when they develop this kind of fund, when they allocate the public fund, then how we are going to advise them to make this kind of structure that can be deployed long term. That will contribute the climate impact generation long term. So that's the one message I took listening to other presenters. And then the second is basically to echo about the measurement issue as well. So then when the country develop their own mechanism, then their own mechanism to develop fund, and then the criteria has to be differentiated from usual public-private collaboration project, which can be, it could be dollar terms, but at the same time, number of workshop, number of people trained, and et cetera, that kind of term. But we need to have more direct impact indicators in the program. So you reward the companies with the achievement of the impact when we design the program, the government. So then that's how they crowd in the many different players to build up their own game. So that's my second point. And my last point is our member countries. So every country has their TRL, the technology readiness level, the measurement. But there's a global criteria, but it depends on the country as well. So they need to follow their own law and their regulations. So then this so-called climate tech startups, innovative startups, when they develop new technology that may contribute to climate issues, sometimes their technology is not registered in their technology readiness criteria and et cetera. So then that means that our partner emerging market countries, they need some kind of free trade zone which can provide some sort of sandbox to develop new technology quickly, as opposed to following nitty-gritty steps for dealing with the national issues when it comes to this kind of climate technologies particular. So those are three short points I want to share, Jason. Thanks.
Thank you, Joo-hwan. You mentioned the importance of having direct impact indicators, and then maybe those could come from those the projects or companies that's requiring Series C or Series D investment that could be scaled up to have a bigger impacts. So thank you very much for your view. So when I was preparing for this session, I didn't think that I'll have any remaining time for Q&A, but amazingly, I do have 10 minutes left. So I am going to open up the floor to receive questions from audience. Any dying questions that we have from the audience? I think there will be a lot of questions that you want to ask, especially to Mr. Kwon. So any questions from the audience? do we have any questions? Oh, yes.
Thank you so much. I was just discussing with my colleague when I was listening to the different presentations about how you also plan for the risk side of things in different countries when we know that there are maybe, I mentioned in the beginning about the informal economy or how sometimes the sector is not necessarily prepared for the different types of regulations, the systems, and all of the things that are needed to run a formal business and scale it into success or Series C, D, et cetera, how you mentioned. So how do you plan for that, or how do you address any of those issues? Are you working together with the UN or with the World Bank on readiness or the ease of doing business and improving the institutional side of things to make sure that these investments can also be scaled eventually into formal and credible and successful businesses over the long term? Thanks.
Thank you for questions. Yeah, there could be some major concern, but I need to let you guys clarify about what we are going to do. Basically, if I find a Series C stage company, their growth is not coming from those 5 countries. Because the Series C stage companies are their own markets in, it could be Korea or Japan or Singapore. So their organic growth is coming from their existing platforms. The key thing is, through this type of technology transfer schemes, then as long as we can transfer this technology into those 5 countries, then and also as long as we can create some impact on those 5 countries, then it should be enough. So basically the reason why we are going to cooperate with the GGGI is definitely the existing businesses are expanding their business into those 5 countries, then they need to get some approval for setting up some factories or some the regulations from the local government or central government, right? So those parts can be handled by GGGI, but that 5 countries not major market for them, because that's why our target companies are maybe Korean, Japanese, Australian, and Singapore based. If we procure some US companies, but our finding is basically the growing company who are doing very well in huge domestic market like US, China, actually they don't want to go out for expansion. So we have to focus on the company whose background is very limited domestic market size. For example, Korea and Singapore and Australians, because Australia is huge, but domestic market is relatively small compared to the land size. And some European countries, but yeah, we finding like some Hungary's and some Polish companies are pretty good. So those companies whose domestic market is limited and strongly willing to come down to Southeast markets, then they could be our targets. I hope my answer could be doing for you. Yeah. But yeah, of course, the regulation and how to solve the restrictions or the regulations from the local or central government would be the key challenges for us. But that's why we are cooperate with NH Investment Securities, Carbon Finance team, as well as GGGI.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kwon. I think that we need to emphasize that what Mr. Kwon meant was the leading technologies or leading companies that will make a joint venture with those 5 developing countries. So GGGI's role will be identifying promising startups in those 5 developing countries to have to set up joint venture, and also there will be a big component on capacity building, so that GGGI will support the local startups to have the readiness to receive the technology transfer from the leading companies from Japan, Korea, Hungary, and Singapore, and so on. So I think we came to the end of this green entrepreneurship session. I could say two main messages from the discussion that we had. The first message is the strong collaboration that's needed amongst the government sector, private sector, international partners, and so on. And with the collaboration, we'll be able to find innovations and then find promising companies that could scale up their climate agenda. And also there has to be balance of impact and commercial viability so that we could achieve financial sustainability for the companies that we are going to focus on. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, panelists, for the active discussion that we had. Thank you. manager. So she's not GGGI person yet, but she started with you. Very good.